How are you doing? This is Pastor Frank J. Knowlton once again coming back to you with an exciting segment of A Minute of Your Mind. We've had such a wonderful time with the interviews that we have done, individuals that have come and just personalized themselves through the relationships that we've had and those that have just overcome through this season and just being blessed over and over again, giving expressions of things that they do that can help us, inspire us, enlighten us, and get us to moving, even though we've been sitting for a while. We have another exciting guest today. And before we get started, I'm going to ask you if you could do this. Would you like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification button so that you won't miss, oh, my words are getting tossed up, that you won't miss another exciting show. So we're going to have another second where we're going to pull in. I'm asking you all, we put out the review for the children to write the books. We want to get you to come on in. So we have ASA Printing and Publishing Company Incorporated that's having books written with the children. And we want to get your ideas out there. So I still want to promote that. He reminded me of it. And I want to make sure that we do what we can to get these children involved and engaged in the writing process, getting them blessed. So right now, I'm going to bring someone to you. This is a gentleman that is just doing a phenomenal job. I want to just read his resume somewhat that's here. He's an individual that is just doing wonderful things. I'm going to give you his resume. He was we teased a little bit because he was born in Chicago. So he remembered the bad boys when they used to whoop on him. So I had to jab him a little bit. He had to jab at me. But he was born in Chicago, where he attended Simeon High School on the south side of Chicago. Chris chose to accept a full athletic scholarship to the University of Michigan to continue his academic and football career in Ann Arbor. Due to the set of serious injuries, Chris decided to hang up the cleats, but still wanted to be around the game of football. In 2015, Chris received his undergraduate degree in psychology and a minor in African American studies. In 2017, Chris graduated with a master's degree from the School of Social Work with a study in management and health with a focus on mental health from the University of Michigan under Jim Harbaugh. All right, Chris is now the director of player development for the University of Michigan. Come on, let's give it up. If I had a clapper for Chris Bryant. Come on in here, man. How are you doing today, Don? How you feeling?
I can't complain. I appreciate it. I appreciate the intro. You made it sound too good.
Oh man, I just want people to know how blessed you are. I didn't blow anything on introducing you, did I?
Oh, no, it was all good.
All right. I'm just enjoying, and always, especially these last few shows that we've done, there has been just such a phenomenal movement that has been shown with our African-American brothers and sisters that have been just prevailing and moving forward. And man, I'm glad and excited to be able to talk about a young brother that's just doing his thing. I mean, doing his thing, man. I'm just happy and just cheerleading for you in all that you do. Now, I know, listen, I know how busy you are with what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I appreciate individuals' minds. Yeah. So
I definitely want to say I appreciate you having me on the show, though. I honestly do.
Oh man, it is my honor. It's my honor. And I mean, just if you need somebody else, I'm good for about 5 to about 15 minutes, whatever position you put me in.
Hey, 15
I
minutes.
play the whole quarter.
15 minutes is a long time on that.
I give you 15. I give you 15, man. I give you 15.
All right, we gonna see.
All right. Y'all gonna see Pastor get out there with his cleats and see what's gonna happen at the big house. This is something different. I haven't done this. I'm kind of dressed down today. I got on my little athletic apparel. This is all I can pull up, man. This is all I can pull up. But I'm just trying to get it together, man. And
it look good. It look good. I told you we'll set it aside for the night. For the night.
I just want to go into asking you some questions. This is a wonderful field. I have a son that's really have his mind focused. I have put into him the understanding that, hey, man, you got to get your grades together, just to make sure that if anything should happen, that you can make sure that your education is in line, that you will still be able to take care of your family and still be able to go on and travel and things of those sorts. And you are a testament of it, that even the athlete, the star athlete that you were, things happened, but you kept the course of success. And you are successful and have moved to a level that is just phenomenal, especially, with your age and, just with being a brother, man. And it's just so wonderful to see what you are. I just want a minute of your mind.
You got it. You got it. Yes, sir, Pastor. You got it.
A minute of your mind. I want to ask you this question. A lot of high school players get fed a lot of things by their family, friends, and coaches. They will always tell them they are the greatest player ever. But the truth of the matter is less than 1.6% of all football and basketball players are able to become pro players. And I know that number is very low, and I don't want that to be disappointing or discouraging anyone, but just the reality of it. And we want them to let them know, what kind of advice would you give to that young athlete that is about to be recruited or is currently being recruited? What kind of advice would you give them in just the reality of, what's moving forward, what may happen?
I say that the reality of it is that, like you said, the percentage that you gave is accurate. You play a position, let's say you play running back, and, you may be, even if you go to a university like Michigan, which if you get to sign a scholarship at Michigan, usually you're one of the top players in the country or whatever, highly touted, highly recruited, and that's great. But now you come to the University of Michigan from being the best player on your high school team, being the best player in your city, maybe even your state, to now being on a team full of everyone who was the best player on their team, the best player in their state, all Americans here and there. So now you have to separate yourself on the team. Now you have to go earn a starting job now as the starting running back, because the second string running back was also the best player at his state. In his state, the third string was the best player in his state, and the fourth string probably was the best player in his school, who was could be even the walk-on players are usually the best players in their school. So once you get there, it's not just getting there. You have to separate yourself once you get there, right? And then let's say you do earn your spot as the starting running back here. You stay at Michigan for 3 years. Once you're draft eligible to go to the NFL, great. Now, what makes you different from Alabama's running back, UCLA's running back, USC? Now you're going against 124 different D1 running backs who also have 4 running backs on their roster who are trying to. So, the percentage makes sense when you really break it down. What are you? And that's why I always tell guys, just going to practice isn't enough. Just being there in the weight room when you have to be there isn't enough. You got to be putting in extra work, because when it's 7 o'clock or 10 o'clock here at night in Detroit, it's only 7 o'clock out there in California somewhere. So at some point you're missing 3 hours. Are you going to stay up late? Are you going to get up early? Are you going to stay after practice? So you're going to have to separate yourself, because when it's time to get drafted in those 7 rounds where only, 32 players are getting drafted, 30 players are getting drafted or whatever, what are you doing that's going to separate yourself from 124 other running backs in the country, or 124 other programs who have 4 running backs on their roster? And then let's not count out smaller schools, D2 schools, D3 schools. All these schools, you can get drafted and go to the NFL out of any school. Any school that has a college football program, you're pretty much eligible to get drafted out of. So you have to be really, 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 really good to get drafted and go to the NFL. And then I always tell guys too, let's say you do go to the NFL and have a good career. Let's say you have a great career. Let's say you play 10 years. You're 31 years old. You're not going to work no more. That money's not going to last. One, you've been in the league even if you're making great money for 10 years, you're used to living a certain lifestyle, right? So now that you're out of the league, the checks stop, but you're continuing to live a lifestyle that was affordable when you were making those checks for 10 years, right? So now you either have to adjust and find out, hey, am I going to cut back and just go get me an apartment and never spend another dollar on luxurious things that I was used to doing, or whatever the lifestyle that I was used to? Or am I going to go find a job or do something that I like, or invest into a business, or whatever the case may be? So at some point, you're going to have to put the cleats up and hang it up and find out what's next. Whether that's like myself, where I thought I was going to the NFL, But, you know, things happen. God had a different plan for me where, you know, now I'm in a position where I'm able to give this advice to a lot of our players and make sure that they're working on their plan B, or like I call it, like a lawyer scale, making sure we're keeping it balanced, right?
Balance, yes, yes.
We can dig into our NFL bag as much as we want, but for me, I always say, you know, I worked my butt off for 17 years to get to Michigan, and you know, within 2 plays was my career. Which one injury put me out for a little bit, the next injury was the one that kind of ended my career. But they say a football play is 6 seconds. You know, that's 12 seconds. You know, I worked 17 years to have my career ended in literally 12 seconds when you really think about it. There's nothing you can do to tell me, you know, that you can compare that 17 years to that 12 seconds. So getting into your bag now of knowing that someday this is going to end, and whenever it does end, I need to make sure I'm ready for it right now, hitting the ground.
I thank you, and I'm asking those of you viewers that are out there that have some young children. It's good. Make sure that you regurgitate this information to them. Let them see this, and this is directly. This is from someone that they would have to go through. This is someone that's tangible to them. And the athletic director at University of Michigan. We get it straight out. You know, I've enjoyed it. Let me ask this, a minute of your mind on this second question. You were a highly recruited player coming out of a powerhouse, Simeon High School in Chicago. You decided that Michigan, a state where the bad boys were. You decided that Michigan was the place for you to play. Give us a quick thought of how you thought your career path was going to go when you first got to Michigan. I mean, was it the coach? Was it the teams that you saw that maybe professional teams picked from when it came to Michigan? Like, what was the drive to get you to come to Michigan?
Man, you know, I get asked this question a lot, especially about like our recruits' parents, and it was never really a certain thing that made me choose Michigan. Being honest with you, my parents I'm blessed enough to have both of my parents in my life. Growing up in a two-parent household, so everything that I did, a lot of the decisions that I made was based around my family. My dad and my mom was at every game. Growing up in high school, you know what I mean? So for me, it was that played a small role in it, being close enough to home. But, you know, I had different schools. Like my top 5 was University of Illinois, Stanford, Ohio State, University of Michigan, and Arizona. And also was looking at Pitt as well. Mm-hmm. And I narrowed those schools down. A lot of those schools that I chose, you know, I had a lot of other offers, but those schools was really based off of the relationship that I built with those coaches and who I trusted the most. But when it came down to Michigan, I just honestly, it just felt right. You know, I came here meeting the staff, meeting the people on campus, and my parents always preached to me about academics and making sure I had a backup plan. And so for me, it was like, you know, Michigan stood up there with Stanford, and it stood up there with some of the Ivy Leagues academically in my mind. And, you know, that's what they was able to show me, that, you know, when football is over, Michigan is going to set you to do this. You know, having the largest living alumni, you know, this whole Go Blue thing is real. You know, being the Michigan man, the alumni wanting to take care of you, you know, all of that stuff. And it was able, you know, and so it was, you know, my dad just sitting there like, oh yeah, where we sign? You know, he ready to go. So, you know, so just all of that, knowing that I think I was more mature for my age than a lot of my friends or a lot of people that I grew up with. So being able to have that mindset that, you know, that what do I want to do after football? Trying to really find out who am I, what's my why, what's my purpose, and what do I really want to do? And a lot of it has been helping people. You know, being at the University of Michigan now as the director of player development now, like my job is making sure that I'm taking care of all of our players, right? I'm making sure on the field they're doing, you know, they're handling what they need to do, but most importantly off the field, they're making the right decisions.
Yes.
Connecting them into the careers that they want to get into, getting these guys into interviews on Wall Street, getting these guys into Google and San Francisco and things like that. So I find pride in knowing that when I was a student at the University of Michigan, my mindset was going to the NFL. That's all I knew. I also knew that if I wasn't a football player, I wouldn't be at the University of Michigan because academically, I wouldn't have got accepted coming from my high school. And academically, I just didn't stand with the rest of the students that they were taking for just off a normal basis. But when I can take a step back and look at what God has done for me and look at what the sport of football has done for me and the doors that it has opened just by playing football, you know, it kind of started being a reality into me, in that even when football was over for me, what can I still do in my life? And I didn't know that at the time, but I knew that being at Michigan, that's something that they promised to help me find, right?
Yes.
So when I got there, being a player, it was all fun, all cool. And then just having a couple injuries, you know, that's what made me have to hang it up. But the reason I chose Michigan was just the feeling, you know, and everything that they promised me after football that's true now, to as far as what I'm doing in life, and the connections I was able to build and the resources I was able to use, and the way they should respect and treat their alumni and players, and all of that just played a big role. And you know, when you choosing through big universities and looking at all these nice facilities, and everybody had big stadiums, everybody had a nice uniform, everybody had big Nike contracts. All of that is cool, but it's a trust thing. You know,
Yes.
I'm basically giving you the next 4 years of my life to determine what's going to happen the next 40 years of my life.
Oh, right. Oh, right. I like that. Yes, yes.
So being able to build that connection with people is like, you know, you have this 2 year of my recruitment of my last 2 years of high school to win my trust over. You know, what can you do to make me trust you more? Well, I'm putting my life in your hands in a sense right now. So I feel like Michigan won that over for me.
Wow. And we had the best uniform out of the guys that you out of the teams you named. Thank you so much. So enlightening and just so informational. Listeners, once again, I always tell you, the persons that we interview are authentic individuals that are tangible, that you can have the questions, and that just give you direct knowledge of what it is that they've been blessed and what it is that they're going through, and they're transparent with their journey. If I can get a minute of your mind just on a couple more subjects, I want to talk about this. The one thing I like about you is that you did not allow any adversity to hold you back. I think that is just more important than anything else. You didn't get to crying. I mean, you just kept forging forward, man. And like you say, with God and your parents behind you, just made such such wonderful decisions and moving forward. But you know, you didn't give up. What kept you the dreams? I mean, I've been to the big house a few times, and I mean, that's impressive. I know that those moments that it was like, wow, this is why I'm here, and I'm not going to be able to do this. I mean, what was the, I think you kind of spoke on it about the promises that were made, of course, the relationships and them keeping your word. It sounds as though I don't mean to answer the question for you, but it sounds as though they didn't just treat you like a nobody because they couldn't get, what you had originally come there for, which is football for you. But just what kind of kept you going, man? I mean, to go from, here, and then I know how it is to see numbers of pro athletes and to be like, yep, I'm just as fast. Yep, I'm just as strong. I'm the right height. I'm the right weight. I know how that portion goes, that you got all the mechanics, that somebody that's out there making 30, 40, 50, $100 million a year, you got all the mechanics together. And then, boom, the injuries happen. Just what kept you together during those trying times?
Man, God and my parents. That was it, man. I remember, but I mean, honestly, though, that was one of the toughest times in my life. You know what I mean? When you sit back and realize, why you're somewhere, why you are here. And at the time, I thought it was because of football, even though God was using football to help me understand my life more and his purpose more. But at that time, my mindset was, I came here to Michigan to play football. I came here to Michigan to go to the league, to make a bunch of money, and do all of this stuff that I wanted to do. That's been my goal. It's like the coaches, you all been telling me this since I was in high school, so it felt like I was let down. I felt like I let my parents down. I went through it was a depressing time where it was like, what am I about to do next? I'm not going to say the only thing I know is football, but that was my only focus.
Yes.
I was doing okay in school, but I wasn't putting enough effort into school where I was going to focus and to do something that I'm going to use school for. If that makes sense. So, it was tough, but I had my mom who was a prayer warrior who's always in my corner.
Yes.
Sending me verses every day, letting me listen to different preachers and all type of stuff, So it was just jammed into my head every day. And you just get to a point where you got to get over it. It was fun while it lasted, and but it's much easier said than done. Trust me. It's people who go to get a little taste of the NFL, and then you see them training for 4 or 5 years, 6 years, still trying to make a roster, because it's hard to let it go. You've been doing it for so long, and then you go out there, and then in a normal play just ends like that, and you look up and you're in the hospital with all type of stuff on your leg, coming out of surgery, whatever the case may be, and the doctor standing over you saying, "Hey, this was the one that did it." It's hard to just, especially as a kid, you go from being a star athlete, in your hometown state, the best player in your school, all on newspapers, and you're on TV. Then you get to go to the University of Michigan, where you get to play on ESPN and play in front of 110,000 fans every home game.
Yeah.
You're taking private planes and having police escort you everywhere you go. You're at that point, you are a professional athlete, and you're just not getting paid the money like you do, but you get treated with the exact same royalty as being a professional athlete. So
yes,
it's hard to face the terms of that, but I had a great coach named Brady Hoke, who was the head coach at the University of Michigan at the time, who we had a really good relationship. I love Coach Hoke to this day. And, after that happened, he came down into the hospital room or to the training room. He literally gave me a kiss on my forehead. It was like, "Man, it's going to be all right. I'm going to make sure I take care."
Yeah.
And, he did. He made sure he set up for me to be able to get into grad school at the University of Michigan. They paid for it and everything. And, he kind of really honestly brought me up to his office, and he asked me, like, "What do you want to do now? Football is over." He showed he's a tough lover, but he shows good love. He's like telling me, football's over. Don't even think about it no more. And I'm like, dang, like, what's up, coach? Like, he's like, what do you want to do? Like, football's over. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's over with. What do you want to do? I'm like, Coach, I don't know. I never had to think about this. And that's when he kind of started breaking down every position at the University of Michigan. He's like, I'm the head coach. This is what I do. This is director of operations. This is director of recruiting. This is director of basically the general manager. So I never thought about who all these people were that's making this billion-dollar industry run.
Right.
So as I started thinking about into more of that, and he started breaking it down. Him as the head coach, he like, I'm making $6 million a year. As the head coach here at the University of Michigan. He's like, I've been a head coach for the last 25 years, 20 years. You do the math on my numbers of my income.
Yeah.
Or you can chase a dream of going to the league, the average of 4 years, 3.5 years, and hopefully trying to get a contract, hopefully trying to get a second contract. There's other ways to stay around the game. Be financially well off and still doing what you love. And I found a passion in director player development where I'm able to be on the field helping the guys, develop or whatever, but my main job is making sure that these guys are finding their purpose, making sure that if that 6-second play happened or it happens twice where it's 12-second plays, that in their career, they're saying, okay, I can mourn a little bit because this is what I love, but I can hang up this and grab this off the rack and keep moving forward without any worries about taking care of my family, without making sure my mental is well, without making sure I'm in the career that I want to do, without making sure that I've took an internship to make sure that this is what I want to do. So my job is just making sure that these guys are well taken care of whenever that is, whether they play 10 years in the league, which I hope they all do, or whether they play not a snap after the University of Michigan. I want to make sure these guys are exactly doing what they want to do.
Man, I mean, that is so wonderful. And what you're doing is, you're developing individuals that are just going on and just being successful in life. Just helping people with just life, man. And that's what made it very interesting to me when I found out the insight of the out of sight thing that you do, of development of personalities and directions, man. It's just awesome, man. But I want to know, man, I know you thank God for favor.
Yes, sir. All the time.
Man, I know you thank God for favor, man. Oh, man. If I could just get a minute on your mind of this. I got 2 more questions. I'm gonna let you go, man. I'm gonna try to see if I can get my workout gear on and just send you a video after that.
I'm looking forward to hold you to it.
Well, I'm feeling good, man. I got my cleats that's a half a size too small, so I can get my cut going on. I know how to tape up my ankles. Here we go. So for those players that don't make it to professional football for whatever reason, and we've shown here that you have been able to keep them around sports or get them in ideas, and it worked out for you. I just want to move to the next question. I also know that in your spare time, if that even exists, because we know that you're doing so much, I just want to get to the blessing, the overflow. I mean, I want to get to it. Like I say, I am a cheerleader. Those that know me as a pastor, I say from the pulpit, and I cheerlead for people. I uplift them. I do all that I can, and I'm just excited. As I say once again, a father of 4 sons, and just seeing that a lot of times, just like you had your father that supported you and there for you, a lot of times children kind of tune us out, after a while. And it's just very, I'm enlightened by this, man. And I'm going to sit down with them and we're going to watch this show. Just for my younger 2 that are just moving out in life, hadn't got focus. I just want to use you as a person of inspiration to them that not only were you blessed and able to stay around what your love was and what you wanted to do and just have another focus, but you were able to put it together to become a successful entrepreneur. I mean, you were able to do the thing, man. And I want to just speak on that in closing, but that, in your spare time, and what all that you do, I want you to tell us about Fresh Roots.
Oh, yeah.
I want you to tell us about Fresh Roots, man. Give it to us. Man. This is your platform. I want you to put it out there, man.
Fresh Roots, 97 West Warren Avenue, Detroit, Michigan. Make sure y'all come by. Tell them Chris sent you if I'm not there.
Yes, sir.
But no, Fresh Roots, man. God is good, man. First of all, man. Man, when I tell you the trials and tribulations of getting that place, man, it's been a true testament to the realness of God.
Yes.
But no, after I got done playing football, I kind of stepped more into the healthier side of life a little bit. At our football facilities, we always had these smoothie stations where I used to always be making smoothies and different drinks and all of that stuff. And I kind of got good at it. And
you got good at eating.
Yeah. And then I had to, being in Michigan, it was all day products. So I used to just try different stuff. I ain't like it. Whatever. Just trying different stuff. I actually got good at it. Everybody's like, CB, make that one drink. So I used to just start making everybody shakes and stuff. And then one day, I kind of just sat down and started doing research on juice bars and the business of opening up a juice bar. And I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I always wanted to own my own stuff. Growing up, my mom always owned her own daycare. My dad's a real estate agent. And growing up, we also had a restaurant, a family restaurant growing up. So I grew up with the entrepreneurship mind a little bit. But I didn't want to leave football. That's my heart, that's my dream, that's my passion. But I was also, like I said, getting interested in this whole juicing thing. And then another thing was that, just being a young Black male, growing up in Chicago, growing up where just in most Black communities, you don't really have a lot of young Black entrepreneurs, even in the hood or in the cities for the most part. But you also don't have young Black entrepreneurs trying to promote health and promote a different lifestyle and promote something that's, going to help you in the long run, help your heart, help your blood pressure, fill you up without giving you all the sugars and bad sugars and bad stuff that you get when you run to McDonald's and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, you can go get you a 4 for $4. All right, that's cool. But I can get you spend $200. I can get you a shake that's gonna fill you up with under 300 calories, 24 grams of protein, 21 essential vitamins and minerals, under 10 grams of sugar, all of that. You know what I mean? So,
right.
but when you don't have no one to teach you it's you don't know. So away from Fresh Roots being a fresh raw juice bar and a healthy shakes and energy teas and all of that good stuff, I want it to be a place where I can give back to the community. I want to be able to have a place where Sunday evenings where kids from Detroit need a place to come do homework, because it's not the right environment to study at home. Come here.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Where we can have a big brother talk, where we can bring in a bunch of young kids, just bring them in here. Whether they buying juices or not, it's a safe place where these kids can learn, get to know who they are themselves.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you.
What they want to be in their careers, learn about careers that they not hearing about in the square that they grew up in. You know what I mean? So just trying to get these kids outside of their environments. I'm downtown, I'm on a college campus, so changing their surroundings already when they get there. They seeing Wayne State University, they seeing college buildings, they're right downtown, just trying to get these guys to tap into something different,
Yes,
honestly. I think it's always good when it's someone who can deliver it to them in a language that they can speak. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Where I talk to these guys and tell I'm not too much. Yeah, I'm older than you. I'm not too much older than you. I know what that means.
Right.
It's just honestly been a blessing. It's been a big blessing. I think God just kind of had his hand all in this.
Yes.
As far as my mind, it's my first time owning a business, so I jumped in head first. I'm learning as I'm going.
Yes.
But I wouldn't trade it in for the world. It's my baby. I love Fresh Roots. I love everything about it. I love the plan that I have for it. I love the community work that I'm going to be able to do with it, and the give back and making sure that kids have book bags and stuff like that when it's time to go back to school, and it makes pencil, ink, pens, folders, and some apples. You know what I mean? So
right.
just trying to change it up a little bit. So that's kind of my mindset.
Man, I just scream favor all in your face. Just favor.
Thank you.
I'm loving it. It's just so inspirational to see the transition. Some would become bitter. Some would give up. I've had individuals that I know of that have went totally left because of the fact that they weren't able to do their dream and goal. So they tried other methods and other means to, obtain finances and money, and, just a lot of talent just lost and wasted, man. And I just appreciate and I thank you. And I said that when you were saying that about the youth, giving them a safe place, letting the environment change. Oftentimes I've seen that with my younger brother's friends, as well as some of my older children, their friends. We would allow for them to go different places with us, see different parks and things like that. Like, what? I don't believe that. I didn't see this before. You take them 10 miles out the city. And it's like, I don't believe this.
Just Chicago. Even going to Simeon, you get on the expressway, you could be downtown Chicago in 11 minutes. Leaving Simeon. I got a lot of friends that never been like downtown. So imagine, they never left the neighborhood or out the state. So it's amazing. Right. My dad played father to so many of my friends. That's another thing I want, Fresh Roots to be, as a Black young father figure in there, that's giving advice. You'd be surprised, even people, women, grown people, they come in there when you making their drinks and stuff, man, they spill out, everything about what they man, so it's definitely, but that's the environment that we create. We create that environment that you feel comfortable enough to talk about your day, to talk about what's going on at home, or to talk about whatever's going on. That's just what we do.
Oh, it's just so wonderful, and I thank you. If you could just one more time, Mr. Bryant, I want you to give that address out. We're going to make sure that we put that up so we can run that for Fresh Roots. Yes, and I'm going to make sure. I think next week I'm going to go ahead and have me a root drink. Right here. I'm going to do some advertising. I'm having a root drink right here next week. I'll have me a fresh root. I get ready to get it going on.
A cup, everything.
I'm gonna be rooted out. So thank God. If you could just give us that address one more time before I leave.
97 West Warren Avenue in Detroit. It's right on Wayne State campus, right next door to the Potato Place, if you know where that is. And then also, you can follow us on Instagram at Fresh Roots DET. That's Roots with a Z, ROOTZ. So Fresh Roots DET on Instagram. Give us a follow.
All right, all right. Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back. Thank you so much. Hey, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in once again. As I said, man, if this was a sermon, I would call it Broken into Purpose because so much could have been done just with that circle and surroundings that he had in his family and his friends, of course, some of the colleagues that he would have been playing with. But look at what God allowed to happen now. He was broken, but now he's able from his brokenness to develop lives and put them together and then go out in the community. This favor has been shown and opened up. To the parents, let me say this. Take this time out of COVID. We're more at home. Life has slowed down and it may be getting to speed up a little more, but it's slowed down. Take the time to get a prayer life with your children. The things that you do for them now will make a lifetime of effect. Here it is that you said, you heard said that in every system that he went through, mama was there, dad was there, the advice there. Sometimes the best and greatest blessing you can do for someone that you love is just be there. And so it's so wonderful. So take this time, get a prayer voice and let them know and learn their dreams and give them that A, B, and C plan. But most of all, make sure that you make God a part of their lives as well as your lives. It's just so wonderful. So I thank you. Guess what, y'all, man? It's just going to get greater and greater, gooder and gooder, better and better. We're going to make sure that we get some fresh roots. Now, I don't eat the healthiest, but I'm going to make sure that I get me some fresh roots. Literally, I'm keeping my word. Next time that you see me on here, I'm going to have me some fresh roots. I've made me a new friend, and we're just happy, amen, in the development, not only spiritually, but financially, not only financially, but just how we can do this physically. Just life is changing. And let's get a change and let's get a start with support our own brother that has started the Fresh Roots. Let's get our children in line. We have an insight that can go out of sight with as player development, what they need to do. You can get some conversation going, please. I'm asking once again, like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Leave something, amen. Leave a tag, leave a message that we can get back with you and can get you in contact to these wonderful individuals that can be a blessing to your life. One time and one time again, I just want a minute of your mind, a minute of your time. I'll see you all next week. God bless you.